Well, here we are. I have an LG washer, and guess what happened? Let me show you what happened. If you look inside here, I have a broken paddle. Here it is. This is the broken one. There are 3 of them in this drum, and this part is called, sometimes some manufacturers or places call it a paddle, or this is called also a drum baffle, B-A-F-F-L-E, baffle. And essentially what it is it's there in order to provide some lift for the clothes as they spin around, and it causes a little bit of agitation in the drum. So there's them in this design, and that's a good one. That's a good one, and there's the bad one. Now I've got to get the old one out. So that's the problem. Here is the part. It looks like this, right? Which is what you saw inside the drum. They're all the same on this model. And then this is what the underside looks like. Now if you look really close, right in here, let's see, on this side, right here, there are some arrows. There's just an arrow there and there. It's pointing that way. So that gives me a clue that has something to do with the installation. That's the only place that there are arrows. Now, I would say this looks the same one way or the other, but you have to also look at the orientation here. There are these little protrusions that stick out, and they are different. So it's a different pattern from the top to the bottom here. These are offset, whereas these are not. Okay, that just means it goes on a certain way. That's all that means. So now we got to figure out how to get the old one off without hurting ourselves or damaging the washer. I've got on some gloves, and can I say it's just not very easy to work on something in this small space. So let's see. So here is the new one next to the old one. It either goes that way or that way. And what we'll do is, when we take out the old one, we're going to look at the position of those tabs. Remember, we saw that one side they are offset. I'm going to try and apply pressure toward me, and then turn it the other way. It does not want to come out. So essentially, I'm going to have to break this thing. And I hope it's not screwed in somehow, because if it is, then we're in real trouble. I pushed the power button with my head. We're in real trouble if it is screwed in, because I'm going to wind up breaking this thing. I'm going to get a screwdriver. I have a screwdriver here. Okay, I think I can wrestle this part out. Seems like it's attached to something here. I don't want to bend any metal. And I don't want to permanently. I mean, the baffle itself is toast, but I'd rather make sure that I don't cause any damage to the retaining clips that hold it on. How is that thing in there? How is that on there? I might have just wrestled a little bit of it there. It looks like if I apply some, it's a little bendable. But I want to try and unclip it from where it's at. It's amazing how this thing is holding on right here. Oh, doesn't it seem like I got it off? But I think it's connected to the center post. It's really. I'm just going to have to manhandle it here. I'm always afraid of breaking things. Now let's see. Boy, that's a real stubborn piece right there. I can't see what it's connected to, but it's holding on to something. I'm going to just try and pry it off. I'm going to get a bigger screwdriver. I got a bigger screwdriver. How's that for bigger screwdrivers right there, huh? All right, let's try this big one. Sure would like to have a drum light so I can see what I'm doing to my machine that broke. Let me try prying it up from the inside out. Will that work? No, because the clips are providing the pressure outward. So I'm going to try. No, okay, we're all right. Easy. Okay, right here. All right, let's just see. Can we see this panel out? Let's see if we can figure out a way to open this out here. This little piece is kind of in the way. I'm going to just try and pop it. It doesn't help that the drum rotates freely. I mean, that's how it's designed, but it means that I can't get a firm grip on anything. I'm going to try twisting this open. There. Okay, I think we did something. I think I lifted it off one of the brakes, one of the pins, or the... Oh, I think I just put it back in. Did I just do that? I think I did. Okay. You see that? How it's coming free there? I don't want to break. Don't want to bend any metal. We don't want to replace the machine because we broke a baffle. Okay, so there. That's really in there. Why is that in there so much? It leads me to believe it's screwed in. That's what it leads me to believe. Is that possible? Is it screwed in? I cannot tell. I've got it all the way around here. Oh, you know what? It is. It is screwed in. Oh, no. That means to replace the baffle, we're going to have to take the whole drum out. That's what that means, everybody. If you look really close, and what we'll do, I'll show you the part right here. It's right here. See that? That is a screw hole, and that's what's connected right now. So they're screwed in with this 1, 2, 3 screws. How about that? What a pain. Well, what we have there is the realization that this baffle is not only clipped in with these clips, these little pieces here, but also it's screwed in with these holes. There's 1, 2, 3. They're asymmetrical and not the same on both sides. So there's only 3 of them, but it means that I have to get at the drum from the inside. And I'll show you what that looks like. Let's just look here. I happen to have the screws already off the back so that I could look at something else. But here's what it looks like. All right, this just comes right off. I'm going to unplug it first of all. There we go. That's my little surge suppressor. There we go. Okay, it's unplugged. Okay. There we go. Well, there's the inside of the washer. And look at this. The drum is enclosed in this plastic housing. And the only way I think you can get that off is by taking off the back, and I'd have to somehow remove this housing. This is a major repair job to replace a baffle. A lot of these baffles just kind of pop in and pop out. But this one is screwed in, and it's within the drum of this housing. The drum is inside this housing. If you look closely, there is no easy way that I can see to get that drum out. So this is going to require some research, and this means we're going to have to disconnect the water hoses and pull it out and take off the back side and see if we can somehow get in there. This machine was bought in 2022. It is not really that old. It otherwise works fine, but that baffle is broken. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to put some duct tape back on those sharp edges so that I can still use the washer in the meantime. But we're going to have a part 2, unfortunately. Wow. And I'm not really in the mood or have the time to really spend, 3 to 4 hours on getting this fixed to fix that baffle. So it might have duct tape on it for a while. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. As long as the clothes get clean and they don't get damaged, it's probably okay. Because the baffle's still there, it's just got sharp edges, and I'm going to cover the sharp edges with duct tape. Okay, well, sorry we didn't have a success yet. To be continued. To be continued. And stop. Well, I'm back. Here's the situation. I went and looked on the internet and looked at YouTube, and there is a video that is produced by RepairClinic.com. They are the same people that have this part available, along with a lot of other parts. They're based in Canton, Michigan, and they had this part I got for about $15 or $16, $20, something like that. They have a video on how to take the drum out and replace it with another drum. The drum itself, the drum assembly, is over $700. This washing machine, I think, was $1,200. But so if something happened to the drum, I would wind up replacing the entire washer, because having someone come in to replace the drum or me, just not worth it. So the situation is there's no easy way to get at that drum baffle to remove those screws so that we can put the new paddle in there. I could disassemble it and follow the video and do all the instruction and then somehow pull the drum out. Actually, they didn't have instructions on how to open up the drum and really get at that paddle, but they showed you how to replace the drum. So there's no other video I could find on actually going into the drum to replace the paddles. And so looking around at this, I don't see any easy way to do that. There's no way to get in there. So my plan is this. I'm going to rip that old baffle out of there, and although it is screwed in from the back, I'm going to use the friction of the clips that are here, these little clips, and we're just going to have it we can get it to hold on like that. And if that isn't good enough, then we'll glue them in with some epoxy, and I think that would be adequate. The alternative is I just leave the duct tape on there and be done with it. I just can't stand having duct tape on my washing machine part. I just can't stand it. So I'm going to try and rip the old one out and put in the new one, and hopefully it'll hold in place. So that's where we are with this. And this is what happens when you have this complicated technology with baffles. By the way, as I said, these are called, what is that called? A drum baffle or a paddle. And I also saw another term. This is also called a lifter, because it's lifting the clothes as they are spinning around. So 3 terms, 3 different ways to describe it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and get in this thing and rip out that piece. This is what it looks like when you're looking into the drum. Here's the bad one right there. Now right now, you may not be able to tell from the perspective, but I have it at the 9 o'clock position. So that's the 9 o'clock position of the drum. Now I'm going to get my big screwdriver, and I'm just going to try and get this thing out of here. You know, if worse comes to worse. The thing is, you know, there's no plumbing inside of this. It's just sort of on here, and water moves in and out of it. There's no hoses, I don't think. I hope not. No, there was no. Wait a minute. Yeah, there's no evidence of hoses. Anyway, it just gets wet. And every other video I've seen of other designs where the paddle can just kind of be pressed in and lifted out, they don't have any water going through them either. So that's what we're hoping for. I apologize for shaking the view here. I apologize for that. Let's see if we can just kind of, I'm just going to try and lift this out. Almost seems like that's ready to break, doesn't it? Maybe the easiest parts to get off first are the ones that are not screwed in. There's only 3 screws. I'm going to put back on my work gloves here so that I have more power to grip without damaging anything on me. Okay. How is this on here? Yeah, it's just kind of, that's the thing. It's not screwed. It shouldn't be screwed in. Oh, you know what one of my fears is that when the screw drops off, what happens to it? It could go clankety, clankety, clankety then every time I turn the drum around. I would hope it would just fall to the bottom of the drum. The question is, would it be with the outer thing doesn't rotate. The outer case does not rotate. It's just the inner drum. So if there's a screw loose, as it were, it would hopefully just drop to the bottom of the case. And I would expect that any wiring is shrouded or covered and protected. You know what we could probably do? I bet we can rip the screw out or rip out the plastic, and then the screw will still be hanging there maybe. I don't know. Okay, we're getting some exposure here. This is not easy. And it's also not easy to do it because it's where the angle is. Boy. I don't see how I'm going to rip that off. I think what I need now... Oh, here we are. All right, going to try a pair of pliers now. feel like I'm making progress. There's just no way, there's no way to break the drum so it's not spinning around all the time. I guess I could put a clip on it, clamp it or something. It might be easier. Some kind of a wood clamp that we call a dryer clamp. See, it seems like I'm getting better at working this thing out. Boy, I've really made a mess of it, haven't I? It's really, the problem is that the other part is screwed on. That's the thing, I'm battling the screw. Boy, I could use an electric tool on this. I really would hate to go to that length, but if you got to remove something, you got to remove something. All right, I realized that the screwdriver and the little wrenchy thing not going to cut it. So I'm getting out the power tools. This is called a Dremel. It's electric, and it's noisy, and it's going to create some plastic dust. So I'm going to plug this in, hook it up, and cut that thing to little smithereens. So in order to do that, I need an extension cord. I put it down there and plug it in. The washer is unplugged. And then I'm going to put on my, where is my favorite eye protection? Here it is. Eye protection and eye protection, hearing protection, and gloves. Hold on. How did that get in there? Okay. I'm going in. Conquer, that's what I'm doing here. I'm holding the drum with my arms while I use my both hands to... Okay, that's what the Dremel looks like. It's a very handy tool. It can also be very dangerous. So don't get one and use it unless you're familiar with doing that kind of stuff. And wear the proper protection. All right, I made some good cuts in here. Let's see if I can break this thing apart more easily now. Isn't this fun? Isn't this fun? I should have just left the duct tape on the silly thing and not said boo to anybody about it, you know? I still got about a 9-10 o'clock position here in the drum. Really just so the camera gets a good view of it. Okay. I think I've got the 3 sections of where the screws are. That screw could be the undoing. That could be the screws could be the thing that ruins the whole thing. If it screw drops down in the drum and it bops around and rattles and cuts something or damages something in the inner workings of the bearings of the drum or gets caught, could be the whole end of the whole thing. Ruin my washer and who knows? Could be the end of the world as we know it with our washing machines. So silly. Why did we ever stop using just some rocks and some lye and some water in the lake or something? To do all this stuff here. So that's still part there. If I could just maybe just cut that a little bit. Still have my hearing protection on. So if you're saying anything to me, I may not be able to hear you. Oh, this is just ridiculous. Look at this. I have my eye protection on too, and probably good to have that on now because something could break off and snap into my eyes, and that would be really unfortunate. I haven't gotten one really good piece out of this yet. It's all just been obliterated, but it's hanging in there. It's hanging in there. There's a piece right there. Oh, that's great. Look at that. Okay. You know what I can do with a, maybe I don't have enough leftover parts, I can make another washer. I could just, look how this is in there. There's another piece. Oh, where is it? There it is. There it is. Okay. This is so uncomfortable to get to, too. It's like working under your sink. You know, when you have a big plumbing project under the sink, everything hard to get to. That's like this. Why do we design products like this? There. Ah, look at that. Right off. Look at that. Huh? That's a nice big chunk. That's a 50-cent chunk right there. Look at that. Okay. What else we got? All right. We'll take a closer look at everything. So there's no screw there. Huh. I'm assuming there's a screw holding this on. I could be terribly wrong. No, I think. Let me see. I think there's a screw there. Maybe it was 2 of 3 screws, because that feels definitely like a screw. Alright. And that feels like a screw. So I'm going to try and cut the screw right at the point where it's... How can I do that? Can I do it like this? I don't want to damage anything. Ha! Did you hear that? I don't want to damage anything, like I haven't already. Alright, let's try this. Yeah, alright. Okay. The integrity of the drum is still here. I mean, we haven't damaged the drum, really. I scratched it a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, the screw went away, so it's down somewhere below in the inside of the drum. And you know what? Actually, this washing machine has a way to, you know, if there's quarters or screws or something in your wash, it has a way of working through, and then there's a little collector bin in the front here for parts like that. All right, we have one piece left right there. I'm going to try and just cut that out. It's hard to do both. Now that I've done that, maybe I can just kind of snap it. Did I get it? Does that look like I got it? Huh? That's it. Oh, I think that's part of the tab. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Let's look at our damage here. Those are the parts. All right. Come out a little bit here. There's the drum. Okay, so it's got these little spaces in here for the tabs. And first of all, I'm going to get a bright light so I can really inspect those, what would you call them? Slots. All right, I have a light here. First of all, let me take off my hearing protection. Okay. All right, now I can hear you. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. There it is. Okay, well, that's what it looks like. So you know what? It doesn't look that bad. It's a little scuffed up, but honestly, it looks okay considering what I did to it. So these slots, you see here, looky here. Remember how I said they were asymmetric, different alignments on each side? So there's the two that are offset, and then there are the two that are lined up over there. Does that sound good? All right. Someone really scratched this up. I don't know who did that. Must have been at the factory or something. I don't know where all those scratches came from. Now let me just spin the drum just to see if we hear anything. Oh, hold on a second. I've got a bunch of plastic shavings in here I want to take out. Oh, hold on a second. All right. I'll turn that light back on. Got myself a vacuum here. You see that in there? I'm just going to take a vacuum. Just gonna get rid of these shavings here. A little tab in there that you put in your shirt collars. We'll get that out another day, okay? That's a different project, different day. Oh, okay. So that is what we're talking about. So I have this rotated at a 9 o'clock position here. Now let's find the replacement. Now here's the replacement. You see these two tabs here, how they're symmetrical. They're the same on each side. I'm going to flip this around so that so that it looks proper. There we go. That's the right orientation. Now wait. Yep, that looks right. Okay. So this, see that, how that matches? The tabs match the slots. Now wouldn't it be great if it would just kind of fit in there and we slide it in? You see the arrow? There's the arrow. And the arrow says, go to the back. All right. Let's turn off that light. Oh, now I can't see. Let's do this. How about that? Will that work? Never enough light. How about we do it like this? Ah, now it's like, nah. There. All right, let's see if we can just put this in. Oh. Okay, I think the slots are in. Tabs are in the slots. Now I'm going to push it toward the back of the washer. Oh! Hey, look at that! Oh! I did it! It's in place, everybody. Look at that. Let's see if we can pull it out easily. Yeah, we can. So we'll just kind of jam it in there. All the tabs are in the slots. Let me see. Do I have a little hammer? Let me see if I can find a hammer. All right, let's just try. We're going to just give it a little love tap here. It's really hard to get to everything here. All right. No, it still pops out. So let's see. Well, I'll tell you what. The tabs, let's see. There's no, yeah, we should probably try to epoxy those in. That would probably be the best thing. There's no reason why we couldn't just epoxy. That's not going to damage anything. And it'll hold it nice and snug. But what I'm going to do, I think for the meantime, I'm going to try just as it is with friction. That is, I'm not going to epoxy it yet. And we'll see how long that lasts. And I can easily just put some epoxy on those tabs when everything's dry, and then let it dry for overnight, 24 hours or whatever. And that would hold it in pretty well. But I think we've been successful here. Let me roll the drum here. The drum rolls just as normally as it always did. No noise. And there may be some little screws that pop out. Let me show you where that little door is. Right here. Right there. Get my glove off. Open that up. And there's a little cup in here. And that little cup there's going to be water because there's water in the whole thing. That's all right. Okay, I drained out all the water. But anyway, oh, look at that. There's a little piece of plastic. You know what this is from? This piece of plastic is from when it originally broke and cracked up a little bit. So the system works. All right, gotta put that back in. Now, if I was smart, I would have had a little tray under there to catch the water. I was too aggressive. All right, now what we got to do is clean up our mess. So this does not need to come off. Well, I guess we can. Now I'm going to screw that in at another time. Well, here it is. Look at that, huh? That is the old drum baffle. Not anymore. You know what we're going to do with it? We're going to throw it away. This is another useful thing. If you're going to be crouching down and trying to get into the drum, this is a little knee pad. You use it for gardening or anything. Just a little protect your knees. Makes it a lot easier to ride your knees while you're fixing something. This was the wrench I used. Okay, little flathead screwdriver. Work gloves. All these things are available at your local store. I'm still ticked off. I'm still ticked off about not having a light in the drum. Damn. Over $1,000 for LG, and they didn't put a light in the drum. They want you to get the deluxe model if you want a light in your drum. No, thank you, LG. No, thank you. Okay, that's it. We're plugging it back in. Look at that. Works like a champ. What we'll do is we'll do a load of wash later on another day, and we will do it, and hopefully it'll work right. So that's it. We replaced the drum baffle. It's also called the lifter, and it's also called a paddle. And I got the part from RepairClinic.com, and total cost of repairs for me, maybe $20. And aggravation, it was pretty much up there. Not an easy repair necessarily, especially when you have to wrestle it like that. And there's no existing video on how to do that until now. All right, that's it. Hooray! Okay, at the last minute, I decided I do want to somehow seal that piece of, I want to seal that paddle in there. And that's because when there's a lot of clothing in there or towels or anything, things are really being jostled around in there, plus with all the water. And I figure, let's not create one more thing to worry about. So I have some, I'm going to try this. This is just some quick seal tub and tile adhesive caulk. So it's designed to be wet, right? You would usually use it in a bathroom or a shower environment or tub. And this is definitely a tub. It's a washing tub. And what you didn't see is this is a brand new container. So you have to cut off the little tip with a little razor blade or something. And you have a little hole there. And then you got to poke something in there like a hanger wire or something to break the seal so that you can get at it. But first I'm going to put on some gloves. These are disposable gloves. You don't want to use your work gloves for this because when I use caulk or some kind of sealants, it gets everywhere. We don't want that. So these are disposable. And there we go. Now let's go and have at it. This should all look very familiar. You know what? They all look the same now. I can't tell which one it is that's fixed. So I'm just going to try pulling back on this one. Nope. Let's try this one. Nope. Let's try this one. Third time's the charm, everybody. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, you see these tabs here. If I put the sealant in those tabs, it's going to possibly clog stuff up. We don't really want to clog anything up. What I want to do is really provide sealing around everything else. So I'm going to really just try and put caulk on the surface here. And let me see if I can do this so it's visible to you here. Let me do this. Let me turn this a little bit here. So I'm going to put it around here. And, oh, you know what? I thought this was new caulk. It is not new caulk. I got it off my shelf. I thought I'd never used it before. But I can't seem to get anything out because I bet it's expired. It is solid and gooey and hard in there. I cannot, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to try poking it one more time. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I had to get some more caulk. I found some caulk that I have used recently. This is different. This is advanced silicone, 100% waterproof, kitchen and bath projects. And it should be fine. Anyway, same kind of thing. You have to cut off the tip and you have to poke the inside. And I had it sealed. So this is a mostly used tube. And I should have just enough to kind of coat. So what I'm going to do is coat this. It's a project of adventures. It's just all this fun. Can I get anything out of here? I might not be able to even get. Do I have anything left? I think I do. Let me see if I can. No, it's. Oh, okay. Whoops. That was not fun. Okay, here we go. Just gonna I'm gonna smear this around in a second. I'm just making a big mess. This is why you wear gloves and you have paper towel at the ready. You might say, David, it's way too much. And that might be true. All right. Now, again, this is really messy. So now I'm going to get my paper towel here. I did not plan on doing this morning. I want you to know I had no intention of doing this project. All right. So now I'm just going to kind of smooth it out. This looks awful. Oh, gosh. All right. It doesn't have to be completely on every part. It just has to be enough to hold it in place. And that will do it, I think. Now I have so much on my fingers. This is why you use the towels. And this is why you use gloves, everybody. All right. Now we got to make sure we use the right side in the right place. So there is the asymmetric side. And then we're just going to pop it in there and slide it on. Let's go back to this. let's go back to this. I'm getting caulk on everything. It's water cleanup, so we should be able to do it. Okay. I'm going to place it in place now and then slide it over. Nope, it's not on right. There it is. There we go. Nope. There. That's it. Okay. Pretty sure that's on. Meanwhile, I got caulk in the drum now. I'm going to wash that out in a second. All right, now I'm going to get a new piece of towel, paper towel. Caulk gets on everything. It gets on everything for me. It gets on everything for me. Okay, now I'm just going to clean this extra stuff off here. All right, and this will dry overnight. It's in all the way. And then I have a little bit that I smeared onto here. I'm just going to clean that up. Get it off of the seal. Okay. All right. Are we on? Is it done? Say yes, please. I think it is. All right, so now we got a good amount of caulk in there, and we are going to let that air dry for over 24 hours to make sure it's really set. And, okay, I'm going to put my cap back on here. All right, and I'm going to clean up the caulk that I spilled on the floor here. Made a big mess. Here we go. It'll never get dirty again because now it's caulked. All right. So we're going to let it air dry now overnight, maybe for 2 days. I don't care. I'm going to let it air dry. This is how we take off gloves with caulk. We pick up from here and we wrap that around like that, and then we use some glove to pick that up like that, and then we get rid of that in the trash like this. Okay, we did it. So I think the total work time here, because we have cut some scenes out between and me running to get a tool and all that, I think the whole project took me about well, probably 2 hours or so, and that's it. We did it. So now that's going to dry and it'll be on there steady, and as I say, with the dried silicone, it's not going to cause any damage, and it's also designed to get wet like that, and it should not damage the clothes at all. Okay, that is it. So signing off for real this time.